Welcome to Squatchin Holler.
In the mist where the trees lean low, Squatchin Holler's got a tale to show. Whispers creep like a creature's faint howl. Every shadow's got a secret to growl. Monsters rise where the stories are told. Squatchin Holler where the legends are born. Are they here? Are they gone? Who can say? In the holler, the truth just slips away. Huge footprints fade where the creek runs thin. A lantern sways, let the search begin. Rustling leaves, but there's no one near. Is it the wind or the beast you fear? Every echo's a question, every rustle's a clue. Squatchin Holler's got its eyes on you. Monsters rise where the stories are torn. Squatchin Holler where the legends are born. Are they here? Are they gone? Who can say?
And now, with your Squatchin Holler hosts, Roger Williams, Amanda Stowers, and Ashley Range. Remember, this podcast can be downloaded everywhere great podcasts are found. And now the show.
Hello, hello. Is this thing on?
Crew. Yes. Wait a
Hey,
minute.
who's that?
Who's that? Wait, there's three of us.
Hi, everybody.
I'm going to be surrounded. I'm outnumbered again.
You are going to be outnumbered tonight there, good sir. Welcome back, Ashley.
Welcome back.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for not locking the door. I appreciate it.
Amanda was supposed to change the locks, but she didn't. Y'all?
We won't say nothing. I forgot.
No, she didn't say nothing.
I know, I'm teasing.
I'm making stuff up on her. So, everybody, thanks for being in chat. Looking forward to this show as always. Can
you believe we're on episode 20 already?
That is crazy. That I can't believe it. And
I blinked and now we're here.
And thank you everybody for hanging there with us. We appreciate y'all. So the whole cryptid world got some news this week, and I just want to say a little bit about it. We don't know anything. I got a lot of messages about the new Monster Quest, and we don't. I'm excited because of what Monster Quest meant to me. You know, the way I grew up not being able to talk about the weird stuff, and then seeing that there were scientists involved and they were trying to explain things, and I just still watch it. So y'all,
Same with me. I've been getting messages about it too. It's like, have you seen the trailer? I'm like, no, actually, wait, what? I was surprised and I shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, it's coming back. Yes.
It's real.
Okay, yes.
So Monster
excited.
Quest, January 2nd, I believe, is the first episode.
Yeah,
and
it's coming out really quick.
So Verax, that's the news. Monster Quest is back. That we don't know anything about it at all, and we're just if we find out,
I wish we did.
Yeah, if we find out, we'll spread the news if we can. So anyway, we've had a few things happen this week. Last week, one of them was pretty funny. I was on a Facebook page and made a comment, and this troll answered back, "Why are you here if you don't believe?" And I didn't have anything to do with what I commented on, so I did a little research. And y'all, this is the reason I'm telling y'all. It was funny, but I believe it was a bot. And so if you're
Most
saying something
likely.
online, on Facebook, wherever, I went back and looked. Some of these people in air quotes that are making fun of you or me or whatever, sometimes they're just not even people. They're just bots. I don't know why they set them up to do
Don't feed
that.
the trolls, guys. Don't feed the
Yep,
Don't
trolls.
be the trolls. Don't put a mad face. And if you answer them back, that just gives it. I don't know what they get out of it, but we'll stop it right there. It was kind of hilarious how it happened because it had nothing to do with what I said. So
No, it was funny in a way.
yeah. So another thing, I'm new at all this, and I try to do a little bit of research to figure out, okay, um, how do you grow? How does a show grow? Some people have beat the algorithms, and I found a way for you guys that are listening and watching to help. When you go to YouTube, if you go into the search bar and search Squatchin Holler and come to the show that way, that beats, you know, that beats the algorithm, so to speak. It shows interest. If if you do it other ways, just go and scroll or go to whatever, that helps. But if you specifically put in Squatch and Holler, it helps us. So and do it with your other shows too, you know.
Mhm.
And anybody you want to support, go search their show name and go in that way, and it really helps. So
Support your
uh,
local cryptid enthusiasts.
yeah, yeah. So we have a trivia question this week, and it has something to do with our guest area. Let's say that, and we'll play that. Let me find our goofy stuff, y'all. If I'm struggling, I was panicking. I had issues, technical issues. Sarah, they've had rain, they've had power out. Her power's out now. She's gonna do this on her phone with some spotlights. So let's do our trivia question right quick.
Yeah.
All right. So now let's see if Roger can find it.
I got you here.
You got it. You
Yep.
take care of it.
All right. So tonight's trivia question, Bigfoot trivia. What U.S. state has the highest number of reported Bigfoot sightings according to the BFRO? I'll give y'all a few
Can
minutes.
I make a guess because I wasn't in on this one? I'll wait
Yeah.
for the comments.
Yeah, go for it.
You're gonna
I'm
be
just
wrong.
going to say Washington.
You cheated.
I have to.
And yep, you were right.
So
No,
so
guys. That
she
was,
just happens to reside there. So
So yes, the answer is of course Washington State in the PNW.
yeah,
But
good job.
interesting fact behind that is that Oregon is another top contender with at least over 250 reports.
Yep. And our guest is going to dispute that because she's heard more than that in the barber chair. Let's see.
So
Y'all want to bring Sarah on and see
yes,
how
please.
bad the storm is?
Let's go ahead and get her on while
Yeah.
she is
Well,
able
Hi,
to
everybody.
communicate with the outside
Right.
world.
Hey
Hello.
Sarah, how you doing?
thank
Doing
you
all right
so
over
much
here.
Sarah, for being here. Talk about a trooper.
Thanks.
For-
Yeah, we got firefighters outside right now and trees falling and power lines down. We try to go out and check it, and it's dangerous out here right now.
Oh no.
Gracious.
I hope y'all in chat and people watching, people listening, if she's on with us for 10 minutes or an hour, and if something goes bad, that's just the way it is because the weather's horrible out there. And then I saw where Wyoming had 140-mile-an-hour winds.
Yep.
That's nuts in the middle of the country.
And Colorado has fires right now, don't they? I think I saw that.
It's crazy. Well, the
And
winds.
then
Yes.
supposedly
don't
having
help.
earthquakes over here on our side near the Madrid fault, the one here in Mississippi. They've been having earthquakes in Texas, not Texas, Tennessee and stuff. So
Well,
craziness happening everywhere.
my son.
Has
we were
anybody
here,
checked on Yellowstone lately?
right? No,
Let's not.
no.
Let's
That's
not think about that.
I finally got to go up there, and I told Heather, I said, if it blows, it'll be while I'm there. So, but it didn't anyway. So how I wanted to start this is anybody that's ever worked in retail behind the counter, like I did for 30 years, like Amanda's doing, like Sarah's doing it. For some reason, I guess people don't have folks in their life to listen to them sometimes. So it's kind of like the bartender. You get to hear some amazing things, but then sometimes you get to hear things you don't want to, you can't forget.
Hmm.
And, but when I heard, Sarah, that you were interviewing people that come into the business, I thought, man, that's a great idea. And people, I know when I sit in a barber's chair, I just run off at the mouth, and when I get in the car, I'm like, why did I tell that person all that? So, uh, good job for taking
Thank
the
you.
reports. Um, tell us a little bit about yourself and how that idea came about.
Well, yeah, I've been working in Oregon for over 15 years doing hair and kind of getting more into areas where there's more reports and stuff, and started talking to people, and they go, oh, you ought to check out, BFRO and Sasquatch Chronicles and all that. Well, you know how one channel leads to another, then I found Jeremiah's channel with Bigfoot Society, and he
Shout
really
out to
helped me out with
Jeremiah.
this.
Yep.
Yeah,
Shout out.
that guy. And he really helped kind of get me started. And I commented on one of his YouTube channels. Says, actually, I live where it feels pretty squatchy, areas where I'm driving and all that. And I've had a few reports. He goes, can you email me? And I thought about it. I actually waited a minute to email him because I wanted to collect a couple stories first, because I was like, well,
Hmm.
they're not my stories, so I want to get them down right so I can share them with him properly. So we were actually talking for a while as friends before I actually went on a show. And then I got some good pictures too. So I think that was kind of the moment. It was like, okay, we should do a show.
And I listened to your interview, and something stood out to me, and it's true all over with this whole subject. You said that you originally started in 2012, I believe, and
Yes.
not many people wanted to talk about it, but it's different nowadays. Can you explain the difference in 2012 and 25?
I think a lot had to do with the area that I was at. I don't feel like when I was first hitting it that I was getting a lot of people saying, yeah, I seen one or heard about one. So I feel like the subject just kind of had to die right there for me. I looked up everything on YouTube I could find. And when we moved out to the country, years later, and I started kind of working in different new areas, I started meeting new people, and all of a sudden, it was just like so many reports. Three to five out of 15 people I meet a day, have a sighting, or they know somebody that does. That kind of makes you think, okay, there's no way that there's that many people that aren't seeing something. And it wasn't just one part of Oregon, it's all over Oregon the reports are coming from, and sometimes even outside of Oregon. Hi, BMR.
Have so as you start something and you haven't done it before, you get better, you learn from your mistakes. What I kind of ease people into the subject sometimes. I might wear a Bigfoot hat or whatever, and if they're real uncomfortable about talking about that subject, I'll start out with, which I think 80% of the people have experienced something weird. I'm like, well, if you've ever seen a UFO or a ghost or know anybody that has, well, once you get them talking about the weird, it makes them comfortable with you. And um, what what are some of your tricks to get them to talk to you?
Well, Roger, do you like to go hunting at all?
There you go. Yep. What's your favorite food? What kind of car are you driving there? Yeah. It
Yeah,
Just
and
get the
yeah.
conversation rolling. Yep.
Do you go
absolutely.
fishing? Do you go hunting? Do you like trees outside?
Yep.
Yeah, just get them talking. And have you ever seen anything that stood out to you or felt weird or anything just weird in the forest? And then that kind of opens it up for them, because you never know if they've seen something and in their mind they haven't registered it as a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch. They just had some kind of encounter. So that kind of keeps that intro
Mhm.
open.
Yeah, and you're right. I spent years talking to people. It was there was sometimes there were long conversations, but yeah, if somebody, let's say somebody came in from New Mexico, one of the first things I would do is ask them like, "Hey, what's your favorite food? Like, you got any recipes or whatever?" And you get people talking like that, and it's an art to it. And I
There's
know,
definitely an art to it,
and
100%.
and the barbers are some of the best in the world, the hairdressers, uh, at doing that. And I'll leave, like I said, I'm like, they did it to me again. I sat there and told them everything that went on for 2 weeks. But um, I know you have to pick and choose sometimes. But I mean, to me, I picture, a barber or hairdresser standing there, and if you're asking them something and they're telling about a stressful story, you can probably see the pulse rate go up and the breathing change and all that. So um,
Or
I've
even
gotten
just the
into
tenseness in
situations.
their body.
Exactly. Yeah. Um,
Absolutely.
so if you see something like that, do you ease up a little bit on them, or and just let them go at their own pace?
Absolutely. I feel like that's with all conversations with working with people. Like right now the holidays are a big topic, so I try not to bring it up unless they want to bring it up because it can kind of be a hard time for people. So it's that same kind of courtesy. You want to talk about stuff they want to talk about. And I have actually found that like the Bigfoot topic isn't something everybody wants to talk about, where I thought
Mhm.
that was kind of a safe topic. So I
Right.
really, I really tried to bring it up more now in a way of like, oh, into these shows or podcasts. So for instance, I'll start to say, what kind of shows are you watching? They go, oh, I'm watching Yellowstone or Landman or whatever, and they'll go, what are you watching? I'm like, well, I don't really watch TV or shows anymore. I'm usually watching, and I'll name all my favorite YouTubers, and they'll go, oh, who's that? Who's Squatchin Holler? Who's BMR? Who's Bigfoot Society?
I
And
do
I
that as
invite them to
well.
watch. Yeah. So then they go, oh, and I had one, or I mean, not just one, but a couple even kind of look at me and go, I've had an encounter. And I go, oh, really? And I'm not asking them for it. They just, feel like offering it up. And I appreciate that more than me feeling like I have to force it out of anybody.
Yeah. It
Sarah, do
and
you have any Bigfoot uh, merchandise or iconography in your studio?
Like where I'm working at.
yeah,
We do have a couple things there. Yeah.
that that's one of the best things, because right away you can gauge their attitude towards the subject. What you doing with a Bigfoot? And if they laugh, you're like, I'm not talking to this person. So um
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to give out any like locations or the name of my shop or anything. There's kind of a rich history of stuff going on in the past where people get attention and back in the 60s or 70s, and I can always send you that link later, Roger. There's some pretty good stuff with that, but I think the topic's pretty well loved in the area.
I've got a question. Since you have people of all ages that you talk to, do you see a gap or you see a pattern with maybe older people that are former hunters versus like maybe the 22-year-old that's on their phone all the time? What type of person or age group is the majority of the witnesses and people that's had encounters? And with that question would be excuse me, would be, are there a lot more older encounters versus new, or how does that go?
I feel like I need to do like an actual data point where I organize it, but I feel like right now I would say it's almost split down the middle, but probably heavily more towards the older crowd. So I hear like the numbers 1960s come up a lot, 1970s. A lot of hunters hunting way out in areas like the Blue Mountains of Oregon. That one comes up a lot. Eagle
That
Cap Wilderness. They got down in Oak Ridge, Oregon, over on the coast.
So
But then I've
yeah, I
also
hear
had
Oak Ridge a lot as well.
Oak Ridge, yeah.
Hmm.
I've heard more of Oak Ridge from Jeremiah, but not personally people sitting in my chair. So I
right.
get more like I'd say kind of the northeast kind of corner,
Gotcha.
northwest. Yeah, and then over in the coast. But yeah, definitely a lot of older gentlemen that just don't even really have the internet. They've got one of those landlines still, and they don't really watch podcasts or want to be on it. So, but they
Those are usually the ones you get the best stories from.
Yes,
absolutely.
because if you have somebody that watches these shows 24/7, and is interested and they read the book, tainted a little bit. That's a bad word, but for the I really like those stories like you're talking about. And that's one question I ask. I'm like, do you older person, do you watch any podcasts? Do you watch TV? You ever watch Finding Bigfoot? And they're like, what's that? What's a podcast? What's so now I know I'm getting untainted stories, right? They're not repeating things they've heard. But there's nothing wrong
Exactly.
with that because, with let's say Finding Bigfoot, for example, um, I didn't know what to call a tree knock. I didn't know what to call certain things, but I learned new terms through that. So I'm just doing the same thing. I just now know um, uh, a word for it, right? So I'm not saying it's a
Right.
bad thing, but it's really awesome when you get that story from somebody that doesn't know about all this. So
Yeah,
that's
there's one story that kind of stood out to me that I don't know if I brought this one up on anyone's thing yet, but one guy was telling me something like there was something follow him, bipedal, really heavy footsteps, and he kept hearing like an opera sound. And I
Oh,
so far,
interesting.
whoa,
yeah,
really?
I haven't heard of any like opera type sound yet on any show. I don't know if you have.
Uh, I've heard people talk about kids laughing sounds. I've heard reports. It sounds like a little singing, but I didn't know if it was, didn't think about the opera things, but um that makes that makes a lot of sense. Like I've heard several reports of hearing singing where there shouldn't be any. Um
Hmm.
wow,
Okay.
that's wow, that's interesting. But
Yeah, so sometimes those unique reports, I think they're really important too, because if you have some reports that don't make sense to you in this state, but you have other reports in another state, and you kind of start adding them together, that's where
Uh,
your
uh,
data information's good.
well,
absolutely agree. Yeah, it's those as my boss David says all the time. It's those little details that
Little
make
details.
that make the big picture.
yeah, and also with that story um that you're telling, that's great because we may hear something down the road. I'm like, hey, Sarah, can you explain that a little better or whatever? Because I just got a report, or Amanda Amanda takes reports all the time. That's what she
Hmm.
does at her job.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
but yeah, it's amazing how this subject has blown up, and it's a good thing and bad thing in a way. But I feel like the people they're finally willing to talk about it, and you providing a way for them to just to get it out. We know it helps. It helped me to talk about it for the first time. So keep doing what you're doing because you
Thank you.
probably don't realize how you're helping some of those folks. To
Hmm.
to us, well, not to me, but to some people, it's just a story, and everybody's got a story, a life story or whatever. But when they have something traumatic happen or they don't understand something, uh, sometimes it helps just to hear themselves talk it out loud. And do you have people sometimes where they zone out and just talk and talk and talk and kind of forget where they're at?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and sometimes when you get the conversation going too, I think it kind of helps them remember things like, oh yeah, I forgot about that, or I've had clients come back to me later and go, oh, since we were talking about that, I forgot about this thing from when I was a child that I had repressed about going into the woods, and I was by myself and it was quiet, no birds, and I just seen this branch like swinging. This one friend of mine was telling me when I was doing her hair color, and she just said it felt really eerie, so she got out of there. But she goes, "Yeah, I kind of remembered that because we were talking about it."
Hmm.
Well,
So,
and you might be the only safe space for them, Sarah. I mean, it's like it's a safe environment where you can just you're engaging in that free flow conversation. There's no consequence if the person doing your hair thinks you're nuts or not. They're going to still cut your hair. And for I mean, if you, there's probably no way to put a number to it, but I mean, how many people do you think have told you and only you their story? I mean, it's got to be at least one.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's definitely a handful. I've definitely asked a few, and and some of them will even tell me, "Oh yeah, like my dad has a story," but they don't really want to go out there and share it with anyone. And I'm always really respectful of everybody too. I always say, hey, I give them a couple options. You could just tell me and you don't have to talk about it again. You can tell me and I can tell the story for you. Is that okay? And most of the times those are all okay. And then some of them want to call me up and tell their story. I was trying to do it like in my chair at first, but it was just way too obnoxious with the clipper noise. So, but it was kind of a fun thought. But so
That's
yeah,
funny.
so. And then I was thinking too with AI now you can do even like if someone doesn't want to tell their story, you can make like an animation of someone to kind of so it's just not you talking, but kind of recreate a story that way too. So
Yeah,
it's
and
something I've
that's
been kinda working on.
what AI is, a double-edged sword.
It
There's
is.
people that absolutely hate it, and here's my stance on it. We use it every day on everything. Your jobs, people writing emails, computers, robots running. But I have a problem with people uh, creating something and say, my cousin caught this on his game cam and this is real. And I hate that. I absolutely hate it. Now, if somebody's using it to recreate something, they can't draw or whatever, but they can put in prompts to AI. I did that with something I saw and it got 90%. Now, I couldn't have drawn it that good, so I kinda show it sparingly, but I have something to like, "Hey, this is not exactly 100%, but this is as close as I could get." So, I feel like maybe it got started on a bad foot with people faking, and none of us like hoaxers, so I
No.
Mm-mm.
understand all sides of it, and
Well, I think it's gonna go split the community again in a way that's you've kind of got like the people that use AI, and then the ones that they want to take it seriously and they kind of have a good reputation. But once you kind of build that reputation as being a hoaxer, you're gonna kind of out yourself from that community. And I feel like the
Exactly.
community, like you said, it's building really good. And I think it's good to keep building the community between everyone and everyone's channels and everything, because I think that's what helps kind of mitigate. And then people like me saying, hey, I am using AI, or like I'll use AI to kind of diagnose stuff, but I'm like admitting that.
mhm,
And the stuff, like I was talking about with text the other day, I put Patty into it, like Grok. Now Grok, you can put stuff in there and you don't say anything. You don't say, I want this to do that. It just interprets it. Well, it turned it
Hmm.
into like a realistic looking, Bigfoot, like detailed and everything. Well, now I put the one where the guy's wearing the suit with the kind of orange color one where he said, "Oh no, I was Patty. I dressed up like her." Well, I put that in there, and it looked like a guy in a suit.
Huh.
So its interpretation of it was pretty fascinating, actually.
That is actually really fascinating.
we've played around with that a little bit.
Okay.
I think it was with DA and Robbie that night. We were
That's right.
after
Yeah, we were
That
playing some with that.
after the
that
show, we
was
were
wild.
backstage. Yeah. And something else, Flat Rock, I don't know if he's in here tonight. He has a lot of audio he catches. I think he puts the recorders out. He tapes every night, and so we took some of his and just put the audio on there, and it gave a spectrogram readout of it and told what it was and what it wasn't, and it was really, really detailed. So there's uses for it. I understand the kickback, but especially think about this. You might have a friend or family member that can't see too well, and this happened to me. It's probably happened to all of y'all, and that you'll get a family member send a picture and like, oh my God, look at this, and it's AI. It's been circulating for 6 months, and then you tell them, and I hate AI, so the people's already had bad experiences with it, and
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
Or just how your inbox gets. I know I've been kind of out of the game a little bit, but not 100%. And I'm still getting pictures of, what do you think of this? Or, look, is this real? I bounce them off of Amanda all the time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I've said this before, like it's the same picture that has like 20 different backstories and they just keep circulating those ones too.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I
It's
found this on
crazy.
my trail cam in Nebraska, and then the next thing you know, it's somebody else's brother's cousin got it on their cell phone in Georgia or something, and they pass around on all the Facebook groups. And it's just like, oh man, oh boy.
yeah. So what about with the stories you've heard? I'm guessing it's probably a small percentage of violent encounters. if it goes kind of similar to what we've heard. Have you heard anything that was really really scary and the person was in fear for their life?
Yeah, I do. There was a couple hunters, and I want to say this is like 30 years ago. We're up in an undisclosed area of the Mount Hood National Forest, and they're up there hunting. I mean, these are tall, like big 6 foot men, and they come across like a big black bear, and the bear had been like ripped in half, and its head
Oh,
ripped
Oh wow.
off. Like something ripped the whole head off, and it was freshly bleeding, so it had just done it. And they said that they felt like they were being watched. So he goes, my buddy was like jumping over these logs to get out of there, and he goes, we never will go back up there and go hunting again. It freaked them out.
That's like a
No,
horror movie.
Yeah,
That
that's
would-
literally like something from a horror movie.
hey
And I
y'all,
asked him a
You
lot
have
of
to-
questions, like, did something chew on it? And he goes, no, it was ripped.
Rip.
Like, I mean, they could
Wow.
You
if
have
if I go out, that's me, the little dot right there.
tell.
I was
Yeah.
wondering
You're getting
why
some nasty storms.
I was wondering why I was hearing the wind outside. I hardly ever hear it. But anyway, we'll get back to the show. Well, Sarah, we have friends that's been dealing with this stuff, and when a hunter talks about something being ripped, you recognize right away whether it's cut marks or whatever.
Hmm.
And just think about walking up on a bear, one of the most powerful animals you can think of, and it's been ripped apart because that's what they do. They don't have a knife with them, so they pull skin off, and the girls here saw something really graphic one night after the show. We got some pictures shared with us. I can't go into detail, but basically it looked like a Bigfoot took a bite out of something, and it was pretty clear it wasn't a small animal.
Hmm.
And I don't know if y'all remember that or not, but
Yeah, I
and
remember
you
that
have
one
to
vividly.
imagine you have to imagine the trauma associated with that. Not only did you see something horrific, but something that shouldn't exist, or what's strong enough to do that to an apex predator? Like it just beyond just seeing something perhaps maybe paranormal or unexplained or cryptid, the woo aspect of it, that is alarming, and that's going to do a lot of damage emotionally, I would think.
Mhm.
And where do you go
Yeah.
to get help for that? Like that's, I think, again, where it's important for people like you, Sarah, and you, Amanda, being story collectors, again, being that safe space to share. And some people don't mind feedback, some people aren't looking for feedback. I mean, I know personally when I've heard stories, and it's like people do not want you to talk back, they just need to get it out. And like, I'm so glad that there's people like you guys doing this, because it really does help some people out there for sure.
Yeah,
So-
and like as far as having a place to go too, that reminds me of one story. A guy was telling me about his dad's friend was like, I want to say a forest ranger that got all the reports, and they got lots of like Sasquatch reports. And there was one where the guy's out there fishing, and one comes down the river and just like takes his fishing line and takes off with it. And he told his dad that they would just chuck the reports and just throw them away.
y'all talk for a second.
So it's like,
Okay.
where do you go when you have these reports? So if they're just tossing them, and because I think they were he was saying try and keep it kind of under wraps for a while.
Exactly. I know with me, Ashley was talking, me and you apparently are in the same wheelhouse, or, where people come to us to share, stories, and we're collecting that. Is that something you actively pursued, or is that something that just kind of fell into your lap and you just kind of started getting into? How did you kind of start getting into collecting the stories from people, or people coming to you for stories? Because I know you being a barber, obviously, people are coming to you all the time, but again, was that just organic, or?
I feel like a lot of it was, like my brother was the big one that was into it. So he's the one that kind of was sending me stuff back in 2012 and said, hey, Bigfoot's real and all this. And every time he sent me something, I was like, no way, no way. And I think there was a couple videos of Yellowstone that were on live feed that these people had recorded
Yeah,
with their phone.
That one's a cool video.
Yeah. Are you talking about the one with like the buffalo?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Have you seen the one with the couple where she's going, what is that? You see that on that screen? I don't know. Have you seen that one? It's like a
Yes.
really old one, and YouTube like scrubbed it off the internet.
Yes.
You're really good at that, by the way, Sarah.
And
Thanks. It was like a whole
But-
family of them though, and I thought there's no way that they're too big and too wide, and they're sitting up. And then if you watch the original footage, they're filming it, and then the forest rangers on the 24/7 camera move the camera off of the family of Sasquatch. Now I
Yep.
put that on my channel so you can rewatch it, but the part where it pans off of it is missing. But I remember seeing that. So
When
and
we-
then it was just all these years, haven't seen anything new until recently.
when we went to Yellowstone, seeing the Old Faithful geyser was on my bucket list all my life. But the number one reason when I got there after seeing that video was to find that cam and go look at the terrain and see how it looked. And it wasn't snow covered, if we're talking about the same one, but you could see the angles, and y'all know how cameras do. It makes it look farther away. That wasn't too far from for where everything, the trail around the geyser and all
Yeah.
that, and then the woods line going up. You had to cross a little bridge. There was where the water runs. They had a little bridge over it, and I think they had to come across that bridge. I'm thinking, I may be wrong, but it was kind of wild sitting there looking at this and thinking there possibly 4, 5, 6 huge Bigfoot came right through here.
Yeah.
And when you see those, we were laughing. We called them assault cows. Those bison, and they're massive.
They are massive.
massive,
You've
and
never
you-
seen a vast bison in real life. They are massive.
Whatever you think it is, quadruple that.
Well, and that's another thing you can use AI for is put like a picture of that in and say, compared to this tree size and this being size, what do you think this is? And I've had it spit back a couple times and say that looks like a Sasquatch because there's no way human could be, it's just, it would be like this big, not that big. So that's kind of
Right.
That's
interesting.
really cool.
and especially if you can put the distance in.
AI falters, but it knows what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's this weird duality. It can sometimes get things wrong, but just because it gets things wrong doesn't mean that it's not knowledgeable. I mean, we've had our own experiences, as Roger's alluded to in our, just a few minutes ago, of us running stuff through AI, and just some of the stuff just makes your skin crawl beyond just getting goosebumps. It's like, wow.
And for transparency, these two ladies here hate. I will say hate AI. They don't trust it. So it's kind of like, and I don't either. And now
I have a deep love-hate relationship
Right.
with it. Do I use it on a lot? Yes, I do. I use it for search engines, photo cleanup, reverse image search, all the good stuff.
Yep.
Do I also think there might be some nefarious stuff behind it? Yes, but that's just
Yep.
me.
But
Well,
so there
it's
was
funny. Like I went to school for software development and cybersecurity too. So you're
interesting.
you're really right to not trust things. So I see both stuff of that, like AI hacking and all that kind of,
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just at the beginning of it where I think eventually they could use more investigative style tool. You know what they say, like they already have stuff way ahead of us than before they release it to us, kind of thing.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I
yeah.
100% believe that.
I remember I had a
100%.
friend that went to Vietnam. He was an original frogman, and he was one of the guys that ran up and down the rivers. And I was watching something from the late '60s. Well, I'm like, oh, that's what Max. He was on one of those boats, and I saw a piece of equipment, and I asked him, I said, Max, what was that bubble? He said, oh, GPS. I was like, in the late '60s? He said, absolutely. He said, when once they release it to the public, they've been using it for decades. So and we had a
that's not
good
even
question.
necessarily secret. It's just not necessarily broadcasted either. And I think we make a lot of assumptions that newest and latest and greatest, but if you watch really closely, and we haven't talked about this in a while, guys, but I've been doing some research here fairly recently just for topics and things. And it's very interesting, the wording. We assume it's new technology, but where is it ever stated that something is in fact new? It's actually quite a deep rabbit hole.
Yeah. And there was a good question in chat. So a lot of people, I know one of the scariest documentaries I watched was Missing 411, The Hunters, because I've hunted a lot by myself. I know my son goes, and you you've probably heard some. Have you had any missing person reports from your area or close by?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the guy's name. I think it's Carol or Carl, the way you pronounce his name. But if you look up missing, guy from I think Malala River, 2022, he's still missing, and they just found his truck up there, and he went up there to look for elk sheds, and sounded like he was about 60 or 70-year-old dude that was pretty good with the forest and everything. I only heard about this story. I never saw it on the internet or anything, because this guy was telling me his sister was really kept following the story and wanted to contact missing 411 about it, because she felt like there was just really something up with it. But yeah, that was a big one for the area up in Malala.
And you know, being a hunter, y'all have a whole lot different wildlife up there. Y'all, we have to watch out for a few things, but there's things in the woods up there that'll eat you for dinner, and you have to be
Oh
careful.
yeah.
So, and you think somebody that went, a 60-year-old person would be very careful, especially hunting by themselves. But
Or some
that's
evidence of him somewhere.
yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. I mean,
That's
there's
the
hard.
that's the thing.
Yeah,
Where'd he
yeah,
go?
Sorry, Roger.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, it's it. Oh, there's a
I
lot
didn't
to
mean
talk
to go.
about the missing people, the way they're found later, but there was large groups in that area for days, and there was nobody.
Searching over the same areas.
Right.
And that
So,
documentary specifically, the one that comes to mind is very similar, is the older gentleman who went hunting. And I believe there was at least three other younger men with him. And he was surrounded. Like there was no way for him to literally disappear. And even if he did, being at his age and his health level, even if they found him deceased or seriously injured, they should have found him. Um, it just gets so scary. But I did have a question for you, Sarah, before I forget, because these kinds of shows, we go on these tangents and these rabbit trails and all these conversations, and I always end up remembering the questions that I had after the fact. Um, Maybe not from what's the word I'm trying to say? So you're quite familiar with hair types and things like that. So maybe not necessarily from a forensic standpoint, but I would argue that you're quite comfortable with hair, right? Have you had anybody bring you any type of unknown or unidentified samples of what, Roger? Did I do something bad?
no, she did. She sent a picture, and I forgot to send it to y'all. It's
Oh,
Uh-oh.
it's a tuft of hair. Yeah,
I think I got it.
probably got it right there.
Yeah, I
She got
sent
the
some to
hair.
Ooh.
text some to this one researcher. It's probably hard to see it, but there's two different kinds there, and he was saying that it was found in like kind of like a deer boneyard area.
Mm.
But I've got that whole podcast on the channel, but I sent it out to get tested. And yeah, he's pretty sure. It definitely feels like nothing I've ever felt before. So that's definitely kind of an interesting. And I haven't like tried to touch it too much, just kind of leave it alone to not get human stuff on it.
yeah,
But yeah, he was
contaminants.
pretty passionate about that.
So
That's really cool. Have you gotten any results back on that? Or are you still waiting on results?
Not yet. I sent it to Tex over from Texas Front Porch. And
Ah,
then
Get
another
somebody you
researcher friend of mine.
trust.
Yes. And another researcher friend of mine, Uli, she's like a local researcher here. So yeah, I told the guy if I meet anyone that, I come across and I have, so I made sure to get it out there and share it. So see if they get any reports. I just
uh,
told him I go text, please don't clone Dogman.
yeah, please don't do that.
We don't
so
need that on the 2026 bingo card. No, thank you.
Because this
no,
guy thinks this is Dogman and Bigfoot is what he was saying.
it's two different
Mm.
types.
So
Wow.
I'm just passing along what he said.
Yeah.
That
I
gave
have
me
I
Well,
goosebumps.
I stay
and
neutral as a researcher person. I have no opinion. I go, this is just what he told me.
well, and you also, people provide pictures, and you have to go by what they say was happening there. I thought this one was interesting. I believe you said tell us what was going on as a firefighter and what was going on with this.
Yeah, so I know we were just talking about the friends photo thing, but that's kind of what it is. One of my clients who had actually already been on my podcast for I think he had seen a Bigfoot, and then his friend had seen one in one part of Oregon. Well, they have another hunting buddy that was like a wildland firefighter also that snapped a couple pictures, and he said I'm more than welcome to share them.
That
And then yeah, without giving out like the exact location of Oregon, but kind of further down where they've had a lot of wildfires and whatnot. And when I put the photo on my phone, it actually went all the way to the top. And at first I was like, what the heck? And it was because it was actually taken in 2016 and the metadata pushed it back. And when I looked at the metadata on it, it actually shows me the exact road and location and coordinates, which really told me its authenticity. And if you look at that one in the top left, like it looks like there's another one sitting up there watching.
Yeah, it kind of does. Or even, again, could be pareidoia, I don't know. But where the main creature is there in our front, if you go straight up the tree there may or may not be one above it there. Back to the other picture, he can't see
right here.
anything there.
Okay.
Yeah, all the way at the very top, possibly. Not necessarily
Yeah.
a face, but kind of a silhouette almost. Again, could be nothing, could be something, but that's just what my eyes just caught
And
just now.
what was he doing?
Sorry,
When
audience, I need to get close because I need to see this.
oh, what was
He said he
oh,
was bent over, like putting like wiping itself in ashes.
mhm.
And when I
Oh,
first
wow.
heard that, I was like, "What?" So I looked it up. And
Ashes
there's
from
lots
like
of
a
reasons.
campfire?
It was a wildfire. Like if you look at all the trees, they're all burnt down.
Oh yeah, you can see that now.
So that's all ashes. And one of them, I don't know if it's this one or the other one that you could see kind of like a smoke cloud around it. So the more Darth Jeremiah named it Darth Vader.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree. It looks like that. Yeah, that's the one.
and you
Yeah,
now
that one you can see some smoke on to the right of it.
just for you know
That's haunting.
transparency,
That
she
is
she she did she
absolutely
did
haunting.
she did enhance this a little bit. So, but I see what you're saying. Yes,
I mean, it's very obviously a humanoid type silhouette there. You know,
But
if
you
it's not
you
a
can see
firefighter,
the
who is supposed to be walking around through a wildfire
and in this
you
picture,
aftermath?
can see the mass in the shoulders. Like that's not like you can it's
Yeah.
a big thing. Beyond just being tall, it is a big massive thing.
And even
And
this one, when
uh
it's bent over, you can see like it's like kind
yeah,
of butt area. Like
Hmm.
it kind
yep.
of looks like Patty almost, like the way when she was like walking.
Yeah, it does.
I
It
was
has
just
the
thinking the same thing.
slouch.
well, and what
And
I'm
it's
seeing,
interesting the glare of the light hitting the neck and the shoulders is very interesting because it doesn't obviously the detail of the muscular structure the we can't zoom into this picture on this application, but it gives me some credibility vibes here. Like you can actually see the curves of the natural body shape. That's fascinating.
Mhm.
yeah, that's uh,
Yeah, and the one where it's bent over, it almost looks like it has like an ear like right here, and you're not seeing like the neck, which
Yes.
kind of lines up with the neck area.
Yeah.
That a
Someone
lot
in
of
the
people.
comment section is asking, are these video stills?
No, they're pictures.
I thought so. I was going to let you
yeah,
answer that for
for
them.
yeah, for it to have that data of the coordinates, it would have to be pictures, right?
Yeah.
Do we know what type of camera was used or a cell phone?
I don't know anything about it other than that, like what I shared with you.
That's
Trust
cool.
me. I was like the second time I saw the guy, I go, "Is there any way I can get in touch with this person or get more details?" And I'm kind of at a dead end right now. And sometimes that's just how it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly how most of it goes, and a lot of people don't realize that, or like, well, you didn't go hard enough. Oh, yeah, that's don't, oh, it's all fake. They automatically start questioning, like, it's just the nature of the game sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
I think the first kid I interviewed was a kid actually, because I was just kind of messing around, like, oh, maybe I should start a YouTube channel and this and that. And he goes, well, I have a story. I'm like, really? I was like, oh, you
Hmm.
want to, try to do like a quick little podcast thing? He's like, sure. So he's telling me like, well, my uncle has this dash cam and they caught like a baby Bigfoot sleeping in his burn pile or in his wood pile. And he goes, it wasn't the dogs because the dogs weren't there. And the kid was just saying details that in my brain kind of weren't making sense. But I was like, okay, it kind of made sense because the dogs were like black labs. And I guess the figure is like very black in the picture. Well, it had been a while and I was doing this one guy's haircut and talking about Bigfoot. And he goes, yeah, I actually caught one on my trail cam. I go, really? He goes, yeah, it was like a baby Bigfoot. I go, wait a minute, is your nephew so-and-so? And he goes, yeah. I go, no way. So he shows me the picture. It's very real. It looks like a little black, like gorilla shaped kind of like Mickey Mouse, but it was so black there was like no detail, and it was just kind of like running through the picture, the one I saw. But I only got to see it kind of briefly, and I begged him for that picture. I was like, will you send it to me today? And he's like, okay, sure. I never got it. But I did see it. It's very real. He actually took it to the research center, and I think 2 out of 3 people told him that they thought, yeah, you caught a baby Bigfoot on your camera. And I could kind of see where you would think maybe it's a dog, because it almost looked like it was like there was like a motion to the thing compared to the other stuff in the picture. And but it didn't have dog ears or anything. It looked like a little humanoid figure.
Wow. And this picture here of the handprint, I mean, you don't have to give all the details or anything, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's really fun one.
Let me show you the size here. She took a picture with her hand. Look at those fingers.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and that's here in Oregon from a local researcher, Uli. Really awesome person out here doing lots of great things for the community. And she personally took that print too. So
the strength you would have to dig that deep to put, I mean, even in mud, like that's a very big, strong thing to go. That's incredible.
Yeah, and if you go up to if you're ever in Oregon, there's a Bigfoot Research Center in Boring, Oregon. They got all kinds of like prints, and I'll show you right now.
Yeah, that's Cliff Barrickman's place, if I remember right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on my bucket list to get up on that side of the world.
Got one. I actually sent one of these to BMR because he broke his. He's not allowed to vacuum around his stuff anymore, but this is the
I've got
Yep,
I've got that same one, and I got it from Cliff. So
yeah,
it's in here somewhere. I don't know where it's at.
I really like the one from
Good guy,
Uli,
Cliff.
personally. I love the one from Uli because she personally took that one.
Have you been up there to the museum?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you say she's been up there a lot. That's where she got it from.
I'm sorry. I've got this storm going on, and I just had a
too.
lightning strike thing, and I'm
If tree hits my house, I apologize.
I'm fixing to get fried. So if
That's
you were
just
up there,
Bigfoot.
did you get a chance to see the video that the lady took on her smoke break at Cliff's museum, where it was sitting down in some like poison oak, and it was moving around, and then she stood up and walked off? Sarah, did you get to see? Oh man, it is.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Do you
that one
have it,
either.
Roger?
It's not
Yeah,
public.
that doesn't sound familiar.
It's not public. And the thing is, the lady gave him permission to show it at the museum, but not show it. And now he did at one of the conferences, and it was really, my jaw hit the floor. It's incredible. And
So what happened? It's because I heard that they don't show everything. I'll just say that.
well, so the lady went out on her smoke break, and she saw across the highway up on a hill a big dark animal, and she was looking. She got her cell phone out and started filming, and this thing is reaching and grabbing and moving like this or whatever, and then all of a sudden it stands up, but it just hops up, right, and just gets huge, and turns and walks up the hill, and you can, it's almost as good as the Patty film, but
Is that the one that's like with apple trees or something?
No, I'm not sure. They went up there and measured the distance and did a little math, and then they had a limb and trying to say how tall they think it was a female, and she was sitting in poison ivy or poison oak in a patch, like nobody would be sitting in that, and they don't know what she was gathering up, but the most impressive part besides the walk was when she went to get up. It was massive, and it was just as smooth and easy and effortless, didn't roll over and push up. It just hopped right up and took off. So
just to clarify, Roger, the video is currently at the museum to the best of your knowledge. Like, it is out there, but you have to go to the museum to see this.
Yep. Or go to a conference where he can show it. Now, They may have changed the deal. That was in 23. So I don't know. It may not be there now.
Could have revoked it. Makes you wonder if their hide or their fur is so thick where the poison oak or poison ivy would have no real effect on them like we would. But also, did they? I'm assuming they went and investigated that and found it was a poison oak patch.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes. Yeah.
interesting.
And that's another thing that the point they were making was nobody in their right mind would be sitting in the middle of this.
Not me.
No.
No, definitely not me.
No.
I could look at poison oak and get it.
But I was just stunned, and I'm looking around at people, and everybody's just watching like it's every day's business, and I'm thinking, well, we are at a Bigfoot conference, but to me, it's top 5. It's definitely top 5 of videos that I've ever seen. So
Wow, I'll have
I don't
to
know.
check that out. I just went up there about a couple weeks, a month ago, and I didn't see it, but I was talking with one of the people up there, and he goes, "Oh yeah, they're sitting on lots of stuff they can't share."
Yep.
I
But
asked about the apple tree.
next time you go, ask if they have that video available and see if you can look at it. 'Cause
Okay.
it's and let me know if you do, because
Can you see like the face or anything?
no, it was far enough away. You could make out the outline of the body and the bulk, and the hair, the color, and all that, and the movements when she was pivoting at the waist and reaching way out here and grabbing stuff, and so it's kind of a long video. It's not. I think it's. I believe it's around 9 minutes.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's a long one.
it's a long video. Yeah, and she went outside at her smoke break and looked up there and just turned her camera. Thank God she turned it. Hopefully they'll release it. I don't know. It could show up in some documentary or something. But
And that was here in Oregon?
yeah. Oh well, I'm not sure of the location.
Yeah.
For some reason I'm thinking Colorado, but that don't quote me on that.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I know that they've got a lot of stuff, and I get it because sometimes people they want to share it for research purposes, but they don't necessarily want everything out there. I get that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, but that's just totally because a lot of people go, oh, why isn't there better pictures or why isn't there better video? I mean, you have to think if you got really good stuff. Like I live out in the forest where there Cliff's got reports of them being right down the road from me. And so I think, well, if I had any like living out here on my property, would I, really want everyone, trooping around out here? Probably not.
Right. And
Yeah,
Well, in
sometimes
our
you can
own
invite the wrong
individual-
crowd.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In our both collective and individual experiences, I know I can speak for the three of you, or the two of you, the three of us, but like we've seen some things that aren't necessarily public, and it's like just because and I've said this before, both on this show and my show, like I think there's this huge misconception that if there was this smoking gun picture or video, that it would just make global news. And the truth is, I think we already had that multiple times over, but there's always going to be skeptics. There's always going to be naysayers. There's always going to be, people poking holes in it. I mean, to this day, the Patterson-Gimlin footage is some of the most impressive footage we have. And yet, even now, there's stuff that like it's out there, but for many reasons, it's either not going to be made public right away, or it's about who or where it's being kept. And it's like there's some pretty compelling stuff out there for sure.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, and I'm kind of on the fence where it's like, what are we supposed to do going forward? Does it help getting more reports? Does it help getting more data? Is it harming them by like, because it
Yeah.
sounds like they are kind of everywhere, but kind of talking about locations and stuff. But yeah, I don't know where this is going to be going with everyone being on board now. What the next steps look like.
It's a very,
It's a
very
fine
good
line
point.
between sensationalizing something and actually driving the cause and the research, and it's a fine line.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think about it all the time. Like, are we doing the right thing? What could we be doing better?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, giving people a place to either come tell their story, or a place for people to gather and
To
hear
learn more.
researchers. Yeah, hear researchers that's been doing it 30 or 40 years and help educate the newbies, and which I consider myself a newbie with a lot of the research. I've messed up more evidence than I've collected. So, I mean, I'm the wrong one to, critique anybody because I've been critiqued quite a bit, but I'll be the first one to say, hey, I wasn't prepared. I wasn't expecting that. That's the thing about it. You have to have everything with you at all times. You never know when you're going to come up on some good evidence. And thank you, Caleb. Caleb's new here,
Yes,
y'all.
thank you, Caleb.
Welcome in. Yeah,
Yeah, and then you have like your
One
kind
of us. One of us.
you have your kind of podcast show people like you guys and kind of what I've been doing, and then you have the ones that are like really out there doing the research. I feel like in a way, I know Jeremiah said I'm boots on the ground, but yes, by getting like interviews and stuff, I'm just not up in the forest out there like looking for details and stuff. But going back to the aggressive part of them, part of me is like, I don't know if I want to be up there alone looking for one just to kind of prove you're out there. I know
I'm right there with you, darling. People give me crap all the time. Like, it's like, wait, you what do you mean you call yourself the Bigfoot lady or you're into Bigfoot? You don't go out there looking for them? Oh, that's lame. You're not a real researcher. I'm like, I would carry the title researcher anyway. There's too much connotation with it. There's so much knowledge in these things, and through conversations like what we're having, and with the witnesses and stuff like that. That's so, what's the words I'm looking for? Help me out, Ash. That's so beneficial, crucial and beneficial to the research.
So what do you like to call yourself then?
An enthusiast. I call myself a Bigfoot or cryptid enthusiast.
Story collector.
A story collector, yeah.
And I had to explain to Amanda,
witness advocate.
When we
That's
first
a good one.
When we first met,
I like that.
we had this discussion, and I'm like, no, wait a minute. Here, she heard something. Somebody said something derogatory, and I'm like, no, wait a minute. That's referring to this. Everybody that's involved has a different talent, and they're all important. All of this is important. The person that goes out and collects evidence, then you got people that analyze the evidence. I investigate. If I find something, I find something. If I don't, that's cool. You have people that dig into the history. I love old newspaper clippings, but I don't know where to go find all those. You have one part of this to go forward. We have to have people that know the history of it too.
Right here.
So she, there's no telling how many books she has.
To that point, Roger, and I'm going to just toot Amanda's horn and by proxy yours too, Sarah, because it sounds like you guys are in the same boat. Again, there's a fine line between research and sensationalism. I know for a lot of people, there's so many documentaries and shows and trash movies out there with Bigfoot and other cryptids. And it's like, half those people you see on TV shows, maybe they had good intentions starting out, but like, there's always a point, I think, when it becomes more entertainment than it does research. Not to say maybe all of it. I'm not naming names or being specific, but I'm just saying we discredit the stories because it's not the fun, sexy part of the research or the job or the hobby, because it's like, oh, well, that's just somebody's story. But the stories are what makes it. Roger, how many times have you said on this show and publicly, like, you wish you would have wrote a story down that you heard while running your shop? Or, Amanda, you take such excellent notes and you're so thoughtful when you're talking to people. And like, as Roger's saying, every person has a talent or a part they play, and it just paints that bigger picture. So for anybody who's listening, if you're into this and you're collecting stories, whether you have a show or not, like, it's a very important thing. So don't ever be discouraged just because it's not on TV or on YouTube or what have you. Like, it's all the same goal. It's all the same mission. So
yeah, I appreciate that.
Doing it.
How do you think that we can like protect them going forward? Because I feel like I'm kind of trying to navigate around that, where we want to like protect this species and not kind of give them up too much, but also we want to learn about them at the same time.
Well, I think some states, and people take it as a joke, but I was on a show and they asked me this question about some of the states that have protection, like you can't hunt Bigfoot or you can't do that. I feel like the people in charge already know. They're putting things in place, making a kind of a joke out of it. But if something happens, they got some rules to go by. Once once it comes out officially that they're here, then that might be something we might have to help with, because we're in every different level of this, from the people that are going to be scared crapless to go outside because it's a big scary monster. Just what Ashley said, 90% of the movies you watch that deal with this subject, Bigfoot's the monster, right?
Hmm.
You talk to your Native American friends, they have a different idea of what they are because of the oral history and trading and the languages and all that. You got what is that? How do you say that? Skamania County, Washington has an ordinance on killing a Bigfoot. And
I was going to tell you, Roger, but I also wanted to hear your pronunciation.
so how bad did I butcher it?
You did all right.
Oh, did I? I did okay. Did a good enough. Okay, but
Close enough.
so
Close
that's
enough.
the right question, Sarah. I don't know the answer. I don't know.
Yeah, that
Was-
is actually a good thought. Like I said, there's lots of ideas. Protecting the
I don't
locations, but yeah, there's not really
Yes.
one exact thing that really puts the nail in the coffin per
the
se.
first thing you're gonna have to do is put things in place to protect the people, the ones that like, oh, I'm gonna go hunt one down. We know from people personally stories that you don't do that. There's never just one, right?
Mm-mm.
So
Well, my thing too with the locations, because I've looked at a lot of different maps. Jeremiah's got one. The Bigfoot Research Center in Oregon has one where they've got pins of like tons of locations and stuff. It's
Mhm.
like these things are everywhere.
They are.
It's like coyotes. Like they're living people think you had to go way, way out. And it's like, no. And it's not like they're going to just stay put all night. How much territory can they travel over nighttime? Are these things running through cities at night? Are they running through small towns? Because I mean, there have been some reports like that. So when it comes to kind of protecting locations and stuff, I feel like there's like tons of books with all the locations in it. There's tons of podcasts with locations, and it sounds like these things are everywhere. So I wonder if it's kind of past that a little tiny bit.
I
well,
don't disagree. Yes.
I
so
think the
I've
key is
said,
also just personal integrity. Like, and it's so easy to say, but to be that, again, back to previous conversation, being that safe space, being that trusted source, being a person of your word, that if somebody says, hey, I want this on the DL, or hey, I'm going to show you
Exactly.
this picture, but please keep it private. It takes time to build credibility and that reputation, but it's worth its weight in
Exactly.
gold. And as far as protecting these creatures, I think, I think it's safe to say, like, we have a platform here, speaking for you specifically, Roger and Amanda, you guys have a platform here. Your voices matter in this arena. And I think being outspoken without being harsh is also a very strong tool at our disposal. So when we state our opinions, hey, these things are not fire fodder, they're not to be hunted, they're not to be provoked, it's voicing our opinions that we think these things should be protected and how we do this, and spreading that awareness as well. And hopefully the right people get that message, and hopefully discourage the people who may not have either the best of intentions, or not even bad intentions, but maybe some people go out with silly intentions. Maybe like, oh, we're going to go have some beers and go look for Bigfoot. People can get hurt. I mean, even outside of that. So I think just being an advocate for what we feel is best practices in this too is also a great way to start.
Do you think that there should be more education on like the harm that could happen when you're out camping, like the missing 411 type stuff, or?
I
well,
agree
100%.
with that.
yeah, and look,
100%.
native tracker here. We archaic tribal people need to be recognized again in the tribal roles. Um, I I think we all need to communicate, and I know it's hard sometimes. I have advice for anybody that's thinking about getting into this, doing a podcast, getting on YouTube or whatever. Protect your reputation, because you're not going to accomplish anything by the first time you get caught faking. It's over, and you hurt the subject. So if you get into this and you start meeting people and you prove the trustworthiness and they start trusting you, I feel like sometimes I know this sounds crazy. 5 years ago, probably wouldn't have said this, but with the experiences that we've had, the experiences that my friends have had, and we've had together, I feel like the more you learn about this subject and the more you show your trustworthiness, I think the Bigfoot actually know it also. So
Agreed.
if you walk in with your chest out and gun up and you're focused on taking one out, you're 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 that's a bad thing. Now, I understand government
Yeah, no,
out,
not gonna go good.
they have helicopters and stuff and they can hunt from whatever. Uh yeah, be careful who you trust in this subject. Always do the right thing. If
Well, it's
somebody
one
asks
thing
me a
if you
question,
get fooled,
yeah, I
but
have.
don't be the person spreading that.
Exactly.
Yep, I've
I've been fooled. I had a person I trusted ended up being just I won't get into it. Some of the people
And
in chat,
also,
no,
you you're never going to outsmart these things, outrun these
no,
things, outstrength
no,
these things.
nope.
mm-mm.
You are we are when you're in the woods, you are not the apex predator, not even close. Not even
And
close.
that's not even with just Bigfoot. I mean, there's tons of
Exactly.
predators.
So I
And
wish the forestry would take a very similar, like I call it the Bucky's approach. Like if anybody who's been traveling down the highway and they see the Bucky signs and they're super kind of clever and self-aware, I feel like if the forestry would even just go down a more playful route and say like, hey, to prevent against potential harm against bears or Bigfoot, like not necessarily disclosure. And I know people would take it that way, but I think small little bits like that to actually engage people would also help. Will that happen? Probably not, but um,
Yeah, and I
I
just
think
still don't know how. Yeah, they haven't like called them a species yet.
I agree.
well,
There's something nefarious behind that to not do that, in my personal opinion.
well,
Yeah, with this in your reports.
let me give y'all an example. So in my area, some people call me the mountain lion expert. And how that happened, I saw a mountain lion in '89. Shocked me. We're not supposed to have them, right? I almost hit it in my Mustang one night. So I started researching that, and I won't get into all of that, but people started contacting me. I wrote an article in the newspaper about it. I talked to TWRA, Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, and all around us. Tennessee's bordered by 8 states. There's 8 states that touches Tennessee. Now, most of those states had confirmed sightings. Well, I talked to some of the TWRA people. They gave me a word for word answer that they memorized. But I talked to a former TWRA agent, he could talk. And the thing is, once Tennessee would acknowledge that there are mountain lions here, then they have to start uh, the process of protection,
they're responsible for
education.
it on every level.
Yes, and
Mhm.
it's going to cost money. So, oh my God, think about. Okay, I've said this before, but think of the money that would have to be spent, and think of the money that will be lost from fishing
Mhm.
license, hunting license, camping, campgrounds, people buying trucks and
Logging.
campers, and logging. Uh,
National
if they
parks is the only governmental part that is not in the or in the red. I don't know. I'm saying that wrong, but it's the only department that actually makes money within our government is Parks and Rec. Take that away.
take half the money away, right? And that's I feel like with when you're trying to figure out a puzzle with people, you follow the money, and so that's the easiest answer. So if they do tomorrow, they come out and say, "Okay, um, here's what we've been hiding. Here's the truth." How many people wouldn't go outside their house? We
Right?
saw that recently. 5 years ago. Now all these movies that Ashley brought up that Bigfoot's the monster. People that don't watch these shows or hadn't had experience with them or know somebody that has, it's a big monster. So we
Mhm.
it could you talking about PTSD and damage. uh, it would be hard for people to accept. That's why I
Well, the
feel like
influx of people and possible injuries and bodily harm to people who like go out to unprepared, uneducated. I
exactly.
mean, it's asking for trouble.
So there you got to protect them by educating them. So that's more money. And
And
yeah, I mean
also
it's crazy.
the idea of we assume that our the powers that be, the higher ups, know about these things and they're hiding things or whatever. And whether that's true or not,
Thanks, Gary.
good guy Gary. But also too, we have to keep in consideration maybe they do know everything and there's certain things that would literally be impossible to talk about if they did have certain facts, or or worse, ones if they didn't know. Once if the government came out tomorrow and said these things exist and that's all we know about them, where they come from, what they do, how they do these other things, we have no idea. Well, what do you mean the government doesn't know? Like the distrust that would sow so openly as well. Like it's just Pandora's box, no matter how you spin it.
Do you have that would be a good question for people, Sarah, like the ones that either believe or know. Probably the ones that know would be better. But that'd be a good question for people. What do you think? What do you think the future is? What do you? How do you think we should protect them? And you might have somebody that's been in the woods all their life might have a great idea, a great response. Um,
Yeah, I
I
mean, like
feel
one hunter, he was saying he's seen one. He goes, yeah, I just kind of poked out from behind a tree, and he just kind of wanted to keep his story to himself. He did go up to that center with Cliff and everything and talk to them
Mhm.
about it, but he goes, yeah, I just they want to be left alone. He's like, just leave them alone.
yeah,
I hear that a lot myself.
yeah. I hear that.
Sarah, do
Awesome.
you have a particular, how do I phrase this? When you're hearing the stories, do you have any repeating themes or repeating I guess themes would work, but like, do you have a personal favorite? Like, you like the stories of the more forest protector type encounters, or do you prefer the stories where it's uh, perhaps maybe a supernatural element? What's your favorite Bigfoot story, if
I
you're
feel like,
comfortable sharing?
yeah, I feel like the theme before I talk about the best story I have is kind of like this weird, odd comfortableness that the Bigfoots have around people. That
Hmm.
that like one guy was telling me he was like a small boy back in, I want to say, the 1970s, and he's sitting there at one of the local lakes, and one just comes walking out of the bush. He could have touched him, he said, 4 feet in front of him, and he goes, he didn't, it wasn't a bear, it did not have a snout, I know what a bear is, that was no bear. And he goes, he's been telling people kind of off and on the story his whole life, and people laughed at him, but he goes, I'm getting old and I'm not going to be around anymore, so I want to share my story.
Hmm.
Another guy was telling me, so this is the good one. He goes, yeah, I was out hunting in Oregon in one of the forests, and he sees a deer through his scope, and it's kind of far off, and he gets the deer, and before he knows it, this big, at first what he thought was a bear comes over and tries to take the deer and take off with it, and he's looking through his scope, and it was a Bigfoot. And so he said he popped off 3 shots near it, and it kind of did a jump, and it took off and left the deer. And I was like, what do you mean? You wouldn't just give him your deer? He goes, no, it's my deer. I was like, how are you not more excited about this? I don't understand that. And I was talking to another guy about 2 weeks later, and around the same time, this is about, I want to say 2 years ago, same area. He was driving with his dad down that area, and they're driving down the road, and they seen one, like, I think standing in the road. And at first, he thought it was like a big, like, animal looking thing. And then he thought it was like a man, and then they get up and it's just like looking at them, and it was like a Bigfoot. So it's
Hmm.
just kind of interesting how these things are just kind of comfortably around people randomly once in a while. And so that's
Well,
kind of the common theme that I'm seeing between people. And another one was over on the Oregon coast. I just met this guy the other day for the first time. He was up here visiting, and I don't know. I was talking about podcasts I listened to. And so he goes, "Oh well, I actually saw one, a while back when I was like 18. I want to say he was probably 35." I go, "What happened?" He goes, "Well, I was out hunting grouse, which is like a Oregon bird, with his hunting buddy and another person, and they seen two of the birds on a branch, and he gets one and his friend gets one, and both the birds fall." And they seen this on the ground, this big, like moss covered, hairy, like what they thought was a log, and all of a sudden this log like kind of like bends over and then just like disappears. Like it like took off, and it took them about a minute and a half to get down into that area where they got the birds, and all they saw was like feathers and the birds were gone. And I was like, what do you mean, how did you not see it like running off? Or he goes, well, it was like a very thin like thicket, like a path to get out of there, and it must have taken up. And he goes, it was definitely a like a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot. And he goes, I've taken a bunch of people up there since then and showed them. And so yeah, that's a similar kind of story where these hunters are kind of in these situations where they're hunting, they get something, and all of a sudden something's comfortable enough to take what they just killed and take off with it, which that's two people that don't even know each other.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's really interesting and fun whenever you have two people, you've talked to them like, a month or two apart, just for example, and they'll
Yeah,
start sharing different things. They've never met each other. They obviously don't know each other, but here they are sharing very, very similar information. So
yeah.
I always find that really, really fascinating with these witness testimonies.
Well, and are
And
these animals intelligent
Especially
enough
when
that
you
they're
line up
comfortable
and
to
you realize
go?
the dates are close to each other. That's
Hmm.
wild.
Yeah,
yep.
You,
And
you kind
another
of
thing
triangulate. You're like,
with hunters and farmers and vet techs and people that have been around different animals, when you're in the woods and you have something that large move. Now that's what confuses me. They can be stealth, and they also, if if they have to move quickly, a lot of times you can tell how big they are by the footfalls.
Hmm.
I've heard it, I've experienced it. My son was in here earlier. We had something happen last year. Um, it there's as soon as you hear the heaviness, it rules out 99% of the animals that it could be.
Hmm.
And so that's the thing. I focus on a lot of times. I'm asking people, I'm like, "What did you hear?" And sometimes they forget that part of it. Like, did you hear anything? Did you hear? I asked somebody that got some really good thermal footage a while back, and I saw the thing take off running, and I'm like, you were just like 40 or 50 yards away. Did you hear that thing run? And he said, no. I'm like, what? That thing was huge. Right, just right there in the dark, and never heard anything. Nobody heard anything. I don't understand it. I don't, I know, I was taught how to sneak in the woods back in the day. And there's sometimes when the conditions are just not right for that, but they seem like they can do it. Um, no, Jeremiah's in here. He was talking about the government knowing that Bigfoot is real. He went on a he went on a rampage, I'll call it, a few months back, and he was tagging
hi
government
Jeremiah.
officials. He was tagging government officials. What about disclosure? What about disclosure? I'm thinking, man, if he disappears, but yeah, and that's another
Jeremiah
thing.
does.
But that's
God,
another thing. Um,
put a bubble wrap around that guy.
I can't put
Right.
I can't put pressure on the government. I mean, who can? Who is the person?
Right.
Now on this was
Another
interesting.
government.
This was interesting. In David Pilates' new documentary, the a representative from East Tennessee is on there, and he was just in town the other night. But I I contacted our Republican guy that's over all this stuff. I said, "Hey man, do you have his phone number?" He's like, "What do you want his phone number for?" I said, "I just saw him on a documentary talking about Bigfoot." And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yes, I want to talk to him." But I'm gonna try to get him on. I don't know if he'll do that or not. If it's just for 10 minutes.
It's
Uh,
worth a shot.
he People like that can help. So it these shows, the documentaries, Jeremiah's show, that helps us. That helps all the people that maybe on the fence, people that want to see evidence, or a lot of people won't tell their stories, but it makes them feel better to hear others. Yeah, I know it was Tim Burchett. That's right. He had his big Tennessee shirt on. I'm on it. Jeremiah, let me know if you get his phone number. He's probably looking for it already. He's probably already interviewed him.
Well, and I wonder with them being so comfortable around humans. I've had one report where back in the day, this one guy went over to this older man's place out here in Oregon, and they were like feeding him out there on their property, And there's lots of reports of them out on some properties out here. So I kind of wonder how many people are actually like living amongst these things, not just gifting, but really having more interactions with them.
It's
Mhm.
probably
Way more than
more than yeah,
we think.
yeah. Because without sounding too scary, I feel like humans there's a awakening going on. It's been going on for a while, and
Mhm.
it's speeding up. And you got the UFOs, UAPs, and the strange things. You got all the ghost shows. We had ancient aliens, and it's kind of getting us ready for all this stuff. I feel like
Soft disclosure.
yes, and that's another thing. How many people have told you about strange experiences in a Bigfoot area? Like, not necessarily that a Bigfoot turned into an orb or something like that, but where there's strangeness and the Bigfoot and all this in certain areas. Have you had any reports of it, uh, people seeing these things not together, but in similar places?
Yeah, I feel like I had one report of like an orb kind of flying through the Christmas trees, and one guy said that he followed it. I've seen a couple orbs out here before back in 2012 that were kind of going through the sky and stopping and then kind of going backwards. And then there was some other I haven't heard of anyone that I've talked to see a Bigfoot like turn into an orb, but there's been orb type sightings. And then I posted on Facebook like one over here not too far from me, like 4 orbs that were seen not too long ago.
Well,
So if you want to watch that video.
when you start digging into it, I'd always read mystery books and whatever, and we caught an orb a few months back, and I was thinking about that, and I'm like, if you have something that's 1,200 pounds and it condenses down to that size, I went into chat. I kind of knew, but I went to Chat GPT and said, what would happen? And it'd be like Hiroshima. That's how nuclear energy works. And so, I'm thinking, okay, well, then the people that I trust that have seen stuff like this, then you start talking about like what Ron Moorhead has been talking about different dimensions. Now that kind of blows my mind, but it would almost have to happen in uh, an atmosphere that wouldn't cause the explosion. You know what I mean? So is there another through the veil an area? I know I'm getting crazy here. That those
You are kind of crazy, Roger, and I
I
like it.
know those
Too late.
rules. Yeah,
We
those
can't
physics
return you even if we wanted to.
those physical rules may not apply right on the other side of the veil. Now I know that sounds like I said, but
Well,
that's what
yeah.
kind of yeah.
And I was just talking to Tex the other night, and we were talking about that because he was out there with Brandy one night, and they were looking through. I want to say they were like thermal binoculars, and he said he could see this like orb. This is over in Oklahoma, and it was like shifting. They take the binoculars off, so they can't see it. They put it on, they can see it. So it kind of got me thinking, because I've been thinking more after watching like Skinwalker Ranch and radiation and all that. What do these things have in common with radiation or with the infrasound abilities? Is infrasound have some kind of radiation, like, because you're hearing like stomach pain, head pain? One of my friends, I've got him on one of my interviews, was over in Timber, Oregon, and he's hunting, and he could hear 2 big ones in the forest, and they're like talking to each other, and they were super loud. It sounded like they were on a PA system, and it sounded like they were speaking another language, like Russian or Chinese, he said. And he said he just had a really bad pain in the back of his back and like stomach ache. And I've heard that report from other people. So is that, like a radiation thing? Is it just like a panic attack, knowing that you're in a situation you're not supposed to be in?
Yeah.
Amanda,
Very
what's the
interesting
sound?
theory.
What's the word? The sound that I'm thinking of?
Infrasound?
Infrasound. Yeah.
Yeah, infrasound.
Actual just.
Yeah, which is a frequency, which you hear a lot of people talk about frequency.
And it's a real thing. I
beings
mean,
as well, it is very much a real thing.
The first time I heard it, it was on a documentary, and they had a lion. Lions can do that, to freeze their prey, and they had a instrument in there.
Tigers too.
Well, it might have been tigers, and
Yeah, elephants can
they
do it
were measuring it, and there's like, asked the guy, I said, "What do you feel right now?" He said, "My stomach feels jittery. I feel, and he's like, "Yeah, he's hitting you with that infrasound. We've got it. We got the readout right here." So that can be measured. I felt that before a few times too.
There
And
was a movie that they tried that they tested it out on people in the theater, and everybody, I guess, was like throwing up and getting sick and everything. If you look it up, I forget the name of the movie, but I heard that on another podcast, and I was like, no way, they can actually like weaponize the infrasound. That's not
It
good.
is weaponized. The military actually has it, and it's public knowledge. It's not a secret or a conspiracy theory. There's actual, very well known, well documented test of less than lethal crowd control with the word I can't say. Um,
Infrasound.
it's kind of crazy to think how disabling something so simple can be. Um, Question for you, Sarah. Uh, Other than Bigfoot, do you have any other paranormal or cryptid interests, or um, I'm assuming Bigfoot's your favorite, but what other interests
I
do you
feel
have in
like
this realm?
Yeah, I feel like I was talking to Brian Bowden about like remote viewing. I feel like that's something I want to learn more about. I feel like I've always kind of had intuition my whole life, like had dreams about stuff and it would
Mhm.
come true. Like I forgot to mention this on Jeremiah's show, but because he's like, "Oh, have you ever had any like paranormal like Bigfoot stuff happen?" And I think the closest thing I've had is like a dream I had where after getting into it, I seen one in like a Christmas tree field, and it was like kind of skinnier with like a cone head, very black, like looking Bigfoot with like kind of alien looking eyes. And some of these dreams I've had, they feel real. And it was like Frozen. I don't know if you've seen the movies where they freeze everybody and you just kind of see like their eyeballs moving. It was
Mhm.
so creepy, and it was like that, and it was like staring at me, and I could just feel it like a telepathy type talking. And it was like, I know you've been looking for me, like here I am. But and it was like angry, but not angry at me. It was just like full of like intenseness.
Yeah.
And so every time I'm driving, I'm always looking through the Christmas trees. Like, am I supposed to see this thing? Like, so that was one. But I definitely feel like there's synchronicity in things. And like, you kind of meet one person, it takes you down another path. Because sometimes I'll be going one direction in life, and all of a sudden it's like, I'll be like, hey, I'll be trying to go this direction, like career wise, job wise, whatever. And it's like, life's like, no, you're going to go this way. So even the
Yep.
fact I'm on the path I am right now, it was like kind of this mishap of things that ended up landing me here. So I'm interested in all that kind of stuff and how we all kind of fit into this whole picture together.
yeah, it's oh man, we could go down so many. I hate the word rabbit hole, but it's just like
But
Moleholes.
we love
we
the
had
word
the.
synchronicity.
That's right. I
We
It's
had
had
to
our
teach
favorite
Roger
word
that
here.
word, Sarah.
I I had to
I like
like
it.
it. It kept happening. Um, but just somebody said something about the EMF readings. There's we may do a tape a show about being at Holland's Hunter Camp, guys. That you guys, people that are in chat. But Harley took the EMF reading and before everything got started, and it was double his research area already. And there's been 3 or 4 campouts there, and Gary, he knows this. I know that Wendell probably knows. There's several people that have gotten sick over the weekend or like a couple days before.
Mhm.
I had a jittery feeling when the first time I ever went. I stopped the truck and I told Heather, I said, something's off. And it hit me. Um, but there's been people actually had to leave and go to the hospital. And it's all weird stuff. It's not, it's not like they've broken ankle or something. It's just if Gary, if you could remind us of who all it was. I mean, I know he's still in here, but that's a weird area. And who knows what kind of energy or radiation. You know what? We might need to start carrying Geiger counters.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
When someone
hurt.
was asking in chat too if I've heard any dogman stories, and that hair I had, that guy's got a bunch of stuff on the he's on one of my podcasts on there where you kind of see him sitting with the wood in the background. He's talking about these two big kind of like main Black Panther things running across the freeway at night on one of his conversations. And I know Jeremiah actually has like a really good podcast He might put in chat what episode it is, where I think it's up in the zigzag area. He was talking about a guy seeing like a black panther and it kind of disappears into the smoke. So when I went back and I listened to my
More
stories,
cat.
what's that?
Like the more cats over in I think it's England. I could be wrong, but
Yes, in the
same
UK.
thing.
Like
Yeah,
a more cat?
UK. The big giant black cats that aren't necessarily panthers, but they're very feline, very large, very black, and they just kind of go and disappear and come and go. It's very
I'll have to write that
interesting.
down and check it out. A more cat. Yeah, and because my
Yeah,
thought
just
was like, well,
big
is this
black cats in the UK.
Yeah, and I was
It-
thinking, oh, are these black cats? Are they Bigfoots? Or I mean, not Bigfoots, but Dogman. And I guess Washington has some reports of these big kind of Black Panther type things. So that's where the research kind of expands. You're like, wait, are these Dogman? Are they Black Panthers that are people are seeing?
There's I want to say it's Matt Imch, witness to a dog man. It was on Sibylla Irwin's YouTube channel, Sketching Encounters, and she actually was drawing out what he saw as this gentleman is describing, the encounter that he had. It's absolutely terrifying. But what I thought was so fascinating about this dogman type creature that he saw, although it was canine like in the face and ears and stuff, in the back side of the body and especially in the tail, it was panther. Like, just it was all black, the thing, but
Yes.
the back end of it and the tail of it was a very, very long cat panther like tail. So that's actually
That's a
very
good-
interesting.
Nice. That episode right there, if you guys haven't watched it, that's one of my favorite ones. Like that's got some interesting eeriness to it.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Jeremiah while he's in here. He's our buddy. I want to play something right quick. I don't know if he's seen it. We played it a lot, usually intros and stuff. But everybody, this is like 10 seconds. Jeremiah did this for us, and this we appreciate it. This is cool. Check this out.
This is Jeremiah Byron from Bigfoot Society, and you're listening to Squatchin Holler. So get ready, because it's a good time.
I asked him if he was interested, and that was amazing. So can I read y'all something? Because we're talking about energy, MF, people in chat. So
Yeah, go for it.
me and Hillary go at each other all the time jokingly, like we hate each other. But she sends me stuff. And so we've talked about Neanderthal DNA, ley lines, energy, EMF readings, all this stuff. So she sent this, and I was impressed. I don't know where she got it at. She told me, but so she said this is EMF magnetic particles theory. Now she said she got it from someone else. So just for transparency, she's asking, is Neanderthal DNA more magnetic than other? Possibly because at the time they were on this planet, there were more volcanic eruptions occurring, which produced lava filled with magnetic particles that were filtered into their drinking water, plant life, animals for food, air, etc. Could this explain why some people cannot wear a watch because the dial spins? Could it explain sensitivity to EMF, ghosts, UFO, cryptids, things that refer to as interdimensional, in quotes? 300 volcanic eruptions over the course of thousands of years, each creating a layer of cooled magnetic particle-filled lava, whose magnetic particles all point to the magnetic North Pole at the time it cooled. The wobble of the Earth, and it goes in to say how, the continents move in and eruptions and stuff turn these things a different way. So if you're sensitive, Neanderthal DNA like me, then it may affect you a little more. And so it said it could be the magnetic particles. Also possible the areas considered to be influenced by ley lines or that are known or haunting, cryptids, UFO, etc., are also more magnetic, therefore possibly causing the same types of interference in the brains of the people with higher magnetic properties, just as they have noticed in the Pacific Northwest or with the God helmet. Disembodied voices, seeing orbs, even get struck by lightning, Rh negative blood, M's in her palms, etc. So we've talked about all this, and then Hillary dropped this on me about a week and a half ago. And
that's actually terribly Terribly interesting.
Yes. So
Really
it's
cool.
there you go, y'all. There's another
Very
rabbit hole.
fascinating. And I'm not being funny. I'm not making a joke. Roger, you read that very well, and I do want to applaud you. It's not easy to publicly read, but you did that great.
Yeah, great job.
Thank y'all. I have to zone out because and it's tough. But yeah, also like quartz heavy areas, like Hollands. Hollands has quartz all over the ground, and you know, I'm with Jeremiah. We need to research that place a little more. We
When
need
I
to
was
carry.
Well,
and it,
as the
I'm,
resident Washingtonian, and I've said this before, like Washington is a spooky, ooky place. We are literally surrounded by volcanoes, not just one, not just two, multiple volcanoes. You have Yellowstone so close to us, relatively speaking, and it's a hotbed for a reason beyond just one cryptid or another. I mean, and I've never thought of it, and this is why these shows and these conversations are so important because as a lifelong Washingtonian who also just happens to be fascinated with all things weird and whatnot, never thought about it. Never once have I thought about magnets. I've thought about the volcanoes. I've thought about what sets us apart to other spooky places in the country, but sharing information, sharing ideas. We need to have more open conversation because that's such a good example.
well,
when something
because
go ahead.
no, well, because of us talking about it, she heard it somewhere, and then dug into it and sent me that. So I had no clue. We couldn't talk about it if we don't know about it, right? So
Right.
now we got all of y'all here sitting here. We got way you go research it, and if you find something, Sarah, let us know because y'all are in that area where the volcanoes and the magnetic and the shifting of the plates and all of that. So to me, I feel like we start with nature first, and then like we say, is it paranormal or normal? We just don't know what the normal is. Uh,
And Amanda, you've said that too. It could be very well these were known things that we've just forgotten over time. Like maybe
Yep.
supernatural is just the information we've lost, not necessarily just discovering for the
Yep.
first time.
Well,
So-
Yeah,
just look
speaking
at
of-
our. Go ahead, Sarah.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, I
go
was gonna say, speaking of like the lost information, I was having issues with my foot. Just like tried out wearing these new kind of like thick skater shoes, and I was working out, walking up hills and stuff. Anyways, it was so bad, my foot was in pain for like 3 months. So I started doing research. I switched to all barefoot shoes, and it's supposed to be like wide toe boxes and like more earth grounding. And then I looked into I haven't bought any, but like copper where it grounds you into the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And I started thinking, like, what if that's what we're supposed to be doing? Like, what if, Bigfoot, Sasquatch are constantly walking in the earth and they're getting these like copper or like ground energy things that we're missing out on? Like, what kind of healing would we be getting if we were walking around more barefoot? And my foot's like completely healed for the most part after
That's
switching
awesome.
back to normal. So I just feel like as humans, we've really now we're just so like inundated with like, cars and convenience and shoes and like technology. We've really just tapped out of all that natural going out and meditating and being one with the woods and the forest. Not to sound super hippy dippy, but I mean, I think it kind of is.
No, I agree 100%.
And it's true. Even those who go out into nature to enjoy it, what's the first? And I am at the very top being guilty. What do? You whip out your phone to take a picture. Like you're never actually really alone in nature unless you make that dedicated disconnect. And we're so connected with technology. It's cool, but it's also a hindrance. I think unless you're one of those really devout nature enthusiasts or maybe off-grid people who which coincidentally are usually the ones who have the very best Bigfoot stories, where it's like they have full-on relationships with these things, and it's usually the most disconnected, don't have cell phones, don't have social media type people. And I just want to see if I can make Amanda laugh. Tell me the first thing you were thinking was the same as me. Were you getting whoop, 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 whoop?
Oh yeah, maybe a little.
Is that Godzilla?
Yes.
Have any of y'all heard that the Earth?
Oh, Godzilla.
One of
The
us,
Earth-
one of us, one of us.
Any of y'all heard that the Earth resonates at a certain frequency, and when you do the
Mm-hmm.
grounding, that's how it kind of gets you back in tune. It's kind of how it worked, how I read it. But I just the more I look and the more I read, I feel like it has more to do with the individual and the area combined. Because I remember going hunting, and just that was some of my best, clearest thinking. I didn't have any phone with me at the time. Um, no distractions. You're just in tune to the smells. Some of my favorite
Mm-hmm.
smells are in the fall with the leaves. That sweet smell of death. That's what I called it one time in a poem. But those leaves, and there's
Biological. There's something to it.
I think it's like Sarah said, we're so distracted. I
Well,
mean, it's
yeah, I've heard
crazy.
some people say that they have a theory that since like Patty, her head's kind of sunken in here, so she doesn't have that frontal cortex like we do, so they're not as intelligent as we are. And I'm like, I don't know if I believe that though. What if
Mm-mm.
they're actually more intelligent because their brain has functioned in the other areas, and maybe they have that like you're saying, they're in tune with nature, they're in tune with, so like if you had the smarts of like a mountain lion, to get through the land and to hunt and do all that, but they had the intelligence cognitive of a human, would be, I don't know. So that's the research that I find really fascinating, is like where do they sit on that? And then
Mm-hmm.
also with the paranormal, like, with them disappearing into orbs and things like that, what other animals are able to do that? If say if Bigfoot is able to do that, have any other animals, deer or mountain lions, been reported to do that?
And and I always say, like, this is not talked about enough. But when somebody's telling me a story or some of their experiences of dealing with them, we got friends dealing with them right now. Um, and they do something that shows incredible intelligence, not like a dog dragging up something. I mean, bringing something and placing it, or making a glyph
The
and putting
trading.
it just
Yeah, the
I
gifting that we is
yes.
done with these things.
Braiding, like
Oh,
braiding
Or the
horses'
territorial
heads.
markers.
that's that statement right there. Carlson, strategic intelligence off the charts. I agree. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
It that's what scares me and comforts me at the same time.
Yeah.
When we're out there, uh, the transition I went through at 14 was my little tail was the boss of the woods with my little shotgun. And then when this thing steps out in front of me, my whole world got shook up because no, I'm not the top of the food chain here anymore. Or I never was.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought I was. So that's
Well,
a hard
also
thing to grasp.
also
Go ahead.
too, like we so okay, stay with me. This is a rabbit hole, guys. You hopefully you're all used to it by now. Stay with me on this. So the stereotype of creatures that live in like deep dwellings like caves and stuff, what's like the number one thing that they report? Eyesight's usually the first thing they go because it's not necessarily needed, right? We developed big brains, or supposedly big brains, but that's not to say anything. I mean, who here hasn't had a pet like a dog or something that you swore knew what you were talking about or was so intuitive to what you're saying, and their brain is, small compared to ours? I don't think size has as much factor on it as we're maybe led to believe, or falsely we just kind of assume is true. Bigger brain doesn't necessarily mean smarter, or small brain doesn't necessarily mean dumber. Also,
Mm-hmm.
what's also being developed, maybe you don't need a big brain when, as we're all saying, you're so in tune to nature. They could be tapping into things that are carrying all the weight. Maybe it's not necessarily that they have a high intelligence, but just have resources that, whether we have or access to or not's a different question. But there's just so
Mm-hmm.
much more than we don't understand. And this is going to sound like a really weird segue, but I promise in my Ashley the Nessie Lady brain it will connect. Sarah, are you familiar with the um, are you familiar with oh gosh, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's the water theory. And I'm butchering it. Anybody in the comments who knows, sound off. But there was a Japanese scientist who with studying the effects of water and plant life specifically. And it sounds silly when you kind of say it out loud, but talking positivity towards plants and then talking negativity towards plants, and it actually had an effect on the way that the plants grew and responded and absorbed water and absorbed sunlight. Kind of going back to that grounding thing, I think all elements of nature play such a big part. And maybe working together, it's almost like how a computer comes together and how information, energy, whatever is transferred as well, I think plays a big part of it. Would you say that in your findings, there's any one particular area that you're getting the most reports, whether it's like we talk about the quartz and the granite a lot, but also, caves and water or deep in the forest? Because I think the elements there also play a part into what we're seeing and what we're reporting. Do you have anything that stands out to you as far as elements in these reports?
Yeah, I feel like if you look at like the map of Oregon and look at it in a territory kind of view, the middle of it, it's just so green and luscious, and then you have kind of the deserty area, and I feel like there's reports over all of Oregon, but I've seen a lot of like pins kind of throughout that whole green area. Mount Hood National Forest, I feel like is just probably the biggest known talked about. You have like one second, the right here, Oregon Bigfoot Highway. This is a really good book to get, by the way. So this talks about the whole highway and all the activity going along it. So that goes from kind of Deschutes all the way up to like Estacada area, and they have tons and tons of history with that. The Eagle Cap Wilderness, Oak Ridge, like Jeremiah is pretty familiar with Oak Ridge. So yeah, I would say all those kind of greener areas kind of make the most sense because you have areas to hide and forest and stuff. But it's not just that area. Sometimes you'll get it in kind of more deserty areas. But that would be the most popular. And then over on the coast too, but you have a lot of trees and forest areas along the coast too.
You know what I would love, and I'm just throwing this out there, Roger, we need to have a ladies special because I think we need more women representation in this field. And Sarah, you've been a delight. Oh my goodness.
Oh, thank
This
you.
has been wonderful.
Now-
I agree.
Now, if you go back and look at the shows, I try to keep a balance. So
You have. I will give you that 100%.
because I agree 100% with Ashley. So I saw a comment a few years ago, and I talked to a lady. I don't remember who it was. It might have been somebody we interviewed. She said, "Well, the thing is, said you guys walk into the woods like you own the place, and we have a different maybe aura or energy or whatever." I agree with that. It's the token dude. I'm the token dude tonight, y'all. That's cool.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
And this is not me being funny, and we've talked about this. Amanda, you and I have talked about this at length privately. We've talked about it on the show. I've mentioned it on mine as well. Like, I think women, broadly speaking, not every woman, but broadly speaking, I think because we are so in tune to our emotions and we're empathetic and sympathetic by nature. I know when Amanda and I go into the woods, either, not that we're in the woods together a lot, but individually or together, like, and especially us being aware in this community, like the paranormal, supernatural, Bigfoot community, you're very aware of your vibes. You're very aware of the energy you're putting out. And like, I think women go in because we're kind of programmed, we're kind of designed to do that anyway, naturally, to, how does this other person feel? Am I putting this other person off, or, am I approachable or whatever? And I don't think most guys, and it's not a jab towards men, and I'm not being funny, I just don't think men have that kind of built in to them the same way that we do. And so, like, going into the woods, you're either apex predator in your own mind, or just aloof mentally, where you're not even thinking about it one way or another, good or bad. So, I mean, if that makes any sense.
Well, and then you have some that are all of that. And you look at the Bigfoot, the stories that we've talked to, like with Kane, and Kane said when they come through, the female is closer to the house, the little one is in the middle, and the the alpha male is up high where he can see and protect everybody. So when I go in the woods, let's say if my wife and my mom go with me, uh, I'm hyper alert. I mean, because they're not watching. They're not watching for snakes. They're not watching for cougars. They're talking, having a good time. That's awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like now I'm really on alert and not saying anything bad. It's just the way they communicate and stuff. And they'll, oh, look at the waterfall, but yet they didn't look on the ground for the whole mile. And
It's
so
true.
it puts us
Sometimes,
in.
yeah. And something I've noticed too is like a lot of the old hunters that I'll talk to, I'll think like, oh, this guy's grumpy or he doesn't want to talk about anything, or because sometimes people a lot of times come off that way. But I'll start talking to them and I'm like, wow, they actually have like a soft side to them and they know a hell of a lot more than I know about like the forest out here, what's going on, and once they kind of gain your trust and you start talking to them, you realize that they do know a hell of a lot more than you think. This is my own thoughts coming to my head, by the way, and I'm thinking, oh, I thought I knew it all, but I don't.
Yep.
And yeah, sometimes people I've judged for kind of being this way or that way, I open them up and I find these layers to them, like softness, and then they might kind of shut back up, but they kind of open up for a while.
Mhm.
That the ones that do want to share their Bigfoot experiences, like one guy that comes to mind, actually, he was like, yeah, I've seen them up there in kind of Eagle Crap Wilderness. They're kind of multicolored like wolves. I've seen them up there for a long time, and my son-in-law didn't believe me till I had him go camping with me, because he's 80 and he still goes hunting. And so his daughter's like, you got to take someone with you. So anyways, I think one came up and was like shaking the RV and messing with them.
Mm.
And so now the son-in-law believes them. But the last time I seen him, he was just like a whole different person. He goes, hey, I got pictures for you. I got prints and I
Oh
got
man.
like these like kind of teepee structures and so I sent him first thing over to Jeremiah to kind of inspect them and get kind of his thoughts. But it was just interesting because my first thought of this guy was like, oh, he's just not in tune. He's got to be kind of gruffy kind of old guy. But I think it was exciting for him, for someone to kind of want to hear his stories and be so excited about him and his his hunting stuff. So
Well,
That's cool.
and you talk men and women, yeah, we're built different, but we're built to make a great team. If
yes.
and
Yes.
it's just like putting a team together
100%.
at work. I always look at the individual. If I'm building a team, I'm like, where can this person help? Because I'm deficient in this area. Oh my God, you can do algebra. Come on, you know, and that's if you're a smart person. No, I'm not. Um, that's how you look at everybody. And Heather, we make a great team because she picked up on how I am. Because I'm, if y'all believe this or not, I grew up really shy, and I still struggle with it. I mean, I do this and I talk to people because I talk to people from all over the world with my job, and
Roger,
but
you are awesome.
no, I don't know what I'm doing, Sarah. I'm just go ahead and tell you. I have people that give us compliments. I said, me and the girls. Heather calls them the girls. She said, "Hey, she in a good way. You know what I mean?
No, that's why I think it's funny.
She's
That's
older.
the most.
She's older than y'all.
You
Yeah,
guys are
but
all awesome. Just very like down to earth, and you could just kind of fit into the conversation. You guys definitely
yeah.
have one of the best shows out there, and like you were
Oh,
saying earlier about growing. I mean, I definitely think it's gonna take off. Like you guys are very inviting and welcoming, and you listen really good and are you guys are all awesome.
well,
Thank you very much. I
thank
Well,
appreciate
you.
it
we're
a
fond
lot.
of you too, Sarah.
What was that?
Yeah, we're
I
fond of
said
you
we're
too.
fond of you
Oh,
too.
thanks.
So,
And
And what
what's
state do you
interesting,
guys all live in? What state is everyone in?
Georgia,
Tennessee,
and
Georgia?
then Ashley's
Washington.
our token Yankee.
Pacific Northwesterner. Hey, you made somebody mad last time you said that.
From Washington?
Bring it.
Yeah,
Okay.
P&W, baby.
yeah.
P&W.
Yeah, so you're just right up above me then. You're like my
So,
bunkmate.
Yeah, bunkmate. I like that.
Sarah,
But interesting way we were just talking in conversation there, Roger, and everybody else. About men and women making a good team and things. That actually segue back into our previous conversation we were having about how different people in the cryptid community, no matter what their skill or what their talent is, all makes part of the good team, which helps put the the bigger picture together and help solve the problem. So that's how it works in all aspects of things. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought that was interesting how that
no, it,
conversation went full circle.
Sarah, what's the name of your channel?
Bigfoot fades with a Z at the end. Cause I named it
Yeah,
after doing
I
hair
like it.
fades.
With y'all,
Clever.
go back and watch the beginning. If you missed it, I told everybody how to support us and break the algorithm. Go and search Bigfoot Fades in YouTube on the search bar. And when
Thank
you want
you.
and go and search us, Squatchin Holler.
Mhm.
I think Jeremiah's already broken the algorithm, so he's cool, but support him too. But that's how you do it. Go in and just like she's got it on the screen, uh, check her out. I don't remember if were you on one of the TikToks, Jeremiah's TikToks live one
No,
night when I was in there? Okay. Yeah, and
I know
don't
I've been
forget
on
that.
one or two of his.
Yeah,
He
that's
pops on. I'm
Awesome.
like,
See that.
after white out, I'll pop on.
you talking about interesting. I've heard
Yes.
some really, really great stories, and it might not have been a long story, but the person was just truthful. I mean, just like you could tell that's the first time they ever told it, and no bells and whistles, just the facts, And I actually loved it. Um, Amanda, oh wait a
Just the
minute.
facts,
I'm
man.
sorry. I'm sorry, Ashley. Ashley, do you have an announcement about your show? I know you've taken a little break, but
Uh,
was
yes.
that?
And thank you, by the way.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, you may not know this because I haven't been on the show for a while. But yeah, guys, I took a little bit of a hiatus working on some personal stuff. But happy to say that I'll be getting back into the game. My show's not canceled, it just small break. We're actually coming back pretty strong this Monday. So if you guys have the ability to tune in live, I would just love to have everybody there. It's always fun. The comments are my most favorite part. I mean, as you all know, I'm constantly looking at them, smiling and laughing. So if you guys can join in, please do. But yes, so the return of Home on the Strange with me, Ashley Range, Monday nights, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard, 7 p.m. Roger, what time zone are you in? I always forget. Central?
I don't know. Right here. No, I'm kidding.
Yes,
Yeah, no,
Central.
I'm
Yes.
I'm
And
picking
8
with you.
7 Central, 5 p.m. Pacific, and 8 Eastern Standard Time will be going live. And for my big return to Untold Network, I have somebody that I'm really excited about. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but a YouTuber by the name of Good Bad Flicks. My really good friend Cecil will be joining me. This has been in the works for a very long time. He's going to share some of his own personal spooky stories and just kind of his take on it through his channel of content, which is usually kind of so bad they're good movies. And we're going to talk about Hollywood horror versus real life horror and just have a really good time. So if you guys can, please come and join me. You'll see some stuff on socials here in the next couple of days that will also advertise that as well, but also hopefully a lot more Squatchin Holler episodes as well. I'd love to come back if y'all will have me, and just thank you for this very last minute edition. This was very last minute. I think I texted them probably 10 minutes before, like, hey, I'm available. Can you guys make room? And
You're like, please come back.
thank you for having me.
And y'all go. I mean, we all of us could go for 4 hours. We're not going to do you like that, Sarah. I know you got issues going on at home. Thank you for thank you for
thank you for making it work.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
for the
We've
dedication.
gone 2 hours here, and you're still your phone has lived this long. It's doing good.
Thank Verizon. I had T-Mobile, and man, I wouldn't even be able to send a text message with that.
is there anything you want to promote before we go, Sarah?
Not anything in particular. I feel like, again, I'm just kind of out here trying to support the community. I've been doing kind of the tech support stuff for the music for like BMR and Texas Front Porch and all those guys right now. So I'm kind of moving over in that space where I'm kind of doing music and stuff for people now and helping out. So if you guys ever need anything, like I was saying, I can always try and help. I'm kind of new at it, but it's fun. Something to do.
Well, welcome to the family, because
Absolutely.
you need to stay in touch. Add Ashley and Amanda, if you hadn't already. And no, I feel
Okay.
like we're building a network, a real network of communication. So could be very important in the near future. And welcome aboard. Thank you. We
Well,
appreciate.
thank you
and
guys.
and we do the show. A lot of people are like, shut up and let the guests talk. But I like having just a sit down conversation and bouncing ideas off each other. If I say something stupid, they know they can tell me to shut up or whatever. They'll send me a private text like, shut up, Roger. But anyway,
That's why our show is different than others. It's all good.
I love that too.
no egos. We don't care who gets the credit. And as long as we're going to do the best we can to spread the truth and just the truth. So, but anyway, next week, y'all, probably going to have to tape a show early. I've got Kenny, Shivers. Maybe we'll go back and with this audience and talk about the night we caught the orb on video. And I got another person on try to get in and just kind of go over that and document it and let them tell their side, what was going on. Last time I told it on the other channel, I did a lot of talking, and I want to give them a chance to kind of tell what was going on too. We'll try to figure that out. So next week probably is going to be our first not live. So, we hope you come in and enjoy that. So everybody, good job. And I didn't get struck by lightning. It got close a couple of times.
Woohoo!
That's a win. And Sarah, I hope
no trees fell on your house or anything.
Thanks,
So that's
guys.
a bonus.
Not that I know of. I've got to go check my backyard. It got rough.
I meant Sarah, but yeah, you too, Cal.
Oh, sorry. I was about to get under the table here for a second. Look.
But no, for real, I'm
Be
glad
safe,
everybody's
everybody.
okay tonight. Yes, absolutely.
All right. Ashley, have you seen our new? Yeah, you saw our new outro, didn't you? For the people
I
that
did.
haven't seen it yet, Doug made us an awesome outro, and we're fixing to end the stream and play it right now. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Like
Good
and
night, y'all.
subscribe.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Down in the pines where the water runs black, where the moss hangs low and the night leans back. The stories whisper about a shadow tall, big feet moving where the moonlight falls. Some say it be, some say it ghost in the trees. Some say trouble blowing in with the breeze. But around here, man, we know the call, or we just call them friends to Squatchin Holler. So light that fire, let the cattails shake, hear the night birds cry and the copperheads wait. If you hear a howl in the Georgia fall, it ain't no wind and it ain't no dawn. When the creek runs cold and the shadows get taller, yeah, you cross a line in a Squatchin Holler where the legends walk and the brave men falter. Better mind your step in that Squatchin Holler. Stood 10 foot high with a timber jaw. Red eyes burning like a summer cold. A left track's big enough to swallow your soul. But the old folks laugh, say don't you fear. Critters been living here for hundreds of years. Treat them with respect when the moon gets smaller, and they'll let you live in Squatchin Holler. So light that fire, let the swamp drum roll. You can hear that beast right down in your soul. If you hear a grunt from the river fog, it ain't no bullfrog barking at all. When the swamp runs still and the crickets get softer, you're not alone in that Squatchin Holler where the brave think twice and the fools won't fall. The Lord keep watch on that Squatchin Holler. dead, some say he walks from bridge to bridge. But one thing's sure, when the night comes down, something big still calls this ground. So bank that fire, let the night get deep, let the willows whisper while the kudzu creeps. Did you catch a glimpse through the midnight holler? Just nod your head, don't scream and holler, 'cause the wild runs free.